We're following some breaking news on the Justice Department investigation into the documents Donald Trump had stashed away. The Washington Post has just reported that, and I quote, a document describing a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities, was found by FBI agents who searched Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. The Post previously reported that nuclear documents were among those sought by investigators. One of the reporters who broke this story for the Post, Devlin Barrett, joins me now on the phone. Devlin, thank you for scrambling to join us. Pretty explosive stuff. Tell us what your reporting indicates about the nature of this document.
Right. So, like I said, the material in question was a document describing a foreign country's military defenses. And we don't know, the people we talk to are not willing at this point to say which country, which is obviously an important detail that we're still chasing. But included in that description is that country's nuclear capability as part of their military defenses. And so I think, one of the things that we've been reporting on throughout, as best we can, is not just what they were looking for, but what they found. And in addition to that, one of the things that's been described to us is that some of the special access program information, that's a government term for highly, highly classified information, was so close hold that the only people authorized to let other people know about it were the president, some cabinet level officials, or near cabinet level officials. And that's another way of measuring just how closely held some of these secrets were.
So I want to follow up on that, right? Because you can imagine there's the full spectrum of information about the nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. What your reporting indicates is that some of the information, at least according to your reporting and sources, was basically at the upper echelons of how closely held it would be by the U.S. government.
Certainly, some of the material was that. I think that's fairly clear, both from the public court filings and what we have been told by sources close to the case.
I guess the question is, from the damage assessment point of this, I mean, this sounds like very valuable information for all kinds of people that may or may not be floating in out of Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. The judge in the federal district in Florida is allowing this damage assessment to proceed, but this indicates that there might be real significant consequences in case that wasn't already clear.
Right, and I think you have to think of that assessment as there's two steps here, right? One is a risk assessment, which is, okay, what type of material was this? What kind of damage could happen if it were to fall into the wrong hands? And that's number one, and that's what's currently underway. And then I think as a part of that, but distinct, is you have to try and understand as best you can whether that actually did fall into the wrong hands. Who had access? Who might have, in fact, read a document or looked at a document or been told about a document like this? And so that's a separate and to be honest, probably a little more difficult of a question to answer. But both those things are important questions that government officials are now trying to answer.
Final question, I guess, is what I've seen a bunch of people saying, look, I had security clearance. If this was found in my house, I would be in a lot of trouble. I mean, given your long career as a reporter in these worlds, what's your sense of how seriously the government would take this were it just anyone working with clearance in the U.S. government?
I think it's absolutely true that the intelligence community, the agencies that are part of it, takes the very notion of removing information from a SCIF and just taking it home with you, if you're not a senior official with a SCIF in your home, incredibly seriously. We've seen that before in past cases. That is a very clear area of concern for intelligence officials and has been for a very long time. I think, what's so complex but also simple about this case is that it involves the former president, which is not something we've really seen before.
All right, Devlin Barrett, phenomenal reporting. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.